Hello, good morning and greetings from Northumberland. It's a much brighter but rather breezy morning here on the 16th of November. And you can see by the brightness compared to yesterday, it's a more cheerful morning than we had then. Today we celebrate Margaret of Scotland, who was born probably in about 1045 and died in 1093. You realise, thinking of that her life spanned that rather important date, for the English at least, of 1066. Margaret was born in exile in Hungary, it's thought, a part of the English royal family who were in exile at the time of that brief period of Danish kings at the turn of the millennium. She came back to England in 1057, but was then exiled again as a result of the Norman conquest. And it was at that point she went to Scotland. Some people thought she wanted to become a nun, but she came under the protection of the King of Scotland, Malcolm, and 3 years later they were married. And they were a devoted couple, but she also devoted her life to religious and charitable pursuits. She was assiduous in seeking to reform the church and to improve the way in which the church celebrated the life of Christ and to unite the church with European practice. But alongside that, she had a deep devotion and care for the poor. And it said that she herself didn't only use her money, but put herself to work in the service of those who were weakest and poorest and most sick. And that's, of course, the abiding picture of her. Someone who, from wealth and privilege, used their gifts for the relief of the poor. And that's, of course, an important lesson for us. That we, all of us are, to a degree, wealthy and privileged, must not forget those who are in need. And we do that in certain ways. Firstly, we pay our taxes. This is an important thing to remember, that paying our taxes is a way of contributing to the well-being of the weak and the sick and the poor. Because taxation is simply a way of making sure that people are provided for in our society. We could do it by charitable giving, whether it be to Christian Aid or Children in Need or whatever. And in doing so, we follow the example of Margaret. But the important thing is that our lives should be used in service. That's what Margaret understood, that in serving God, she could serve God in serving those who were the most vulnerable. And that's something to always hold before us. But she did that because of her Christian faith. And we as Christians should cause ourselves and people of power to account, to make sure that the weak and the poor are cared for, especially in such challenging times as this. She also was, with her husband, instrumental in reconditioning, reforming, rebuilding the Abbey on Iona and a number of other Scottish churches, including Dunfermline Abbey. And it was in Dunfermline that she was buried when she died in 1093. So we remember someone who suffered ups and downs in her life, but never relied on her own privilege or wealth, but used what she had for the good of all people. And in these difficult times, we pray that we can use our gifts for the good of all. May God bless us today.